Okay, welcome to Social Media Fridays. Each week we meet to wind down and talk about what happened this week in the world of social media. With us today we have Erin Mackay. Erin is a social media queen from Brazil. And I think you also do SEO, Erin. I can't remember. It's been that long since you've been with us. And Masataki Wasa is webmaster of wasaweb.net. That's WASAWEB.net, and he is also a Google top contributor on the AdSense forum and also the Google Plus help community. Okay, so each week, through the week, if anything new pops up in social media, we'll post it on the Social Media Fridays community, and then come Friday, we talk about them. The first one was an article posted on, let me think, I can't think of the website. But anyway, this article contained 25 predictions from social media people, and luckily, Masataki Wasa has read this article. Tell us what you thought of it, Masataki, please.
Well, Jim, you posted it, so
I read it too. But I just spoke for 3 minutes. People are sick of me already.
I think it's an interesting set of predictions, most of which are probably nothing too controversial. Others somewhat interesting. The thrust of main points that emerge from a number of different people are still the dominance of Facebook in their thinking, importance of mobile, getting mobile right, video offerings will become more important. I think these are all trends that have been noticeable for a year or so now, or perhaps even longer. So in that sense, it's very much a continuation of what we have observed recently. So in that sense, I don't think there's anything too, what would be the right word, revolutionary in them. That was my sort of general impression.
Yeah. I must admit, I only skimmed it. The thing that surprised me was that these are 25 people in social media, and I don't think I recognised one of them. Did you see anybody that you knew?
No, not really. I didn't really sort of look through the names of all the companies they represent, or the companies they work at. And I think that tells us something in that it's still a very amorphous area of the internet to a certain extent. So I think there are few different people approaching social media from different starting points and different angles. I think there are people who are very much into the consulting side of things. There are people, I think, who are more from the advertising background. So I think that's why it makes an interesting mix to a certain extent, because we're looking at people from different backgrounds, often sharing the general main assumption if that would be the right word, or the general direction of travel that social media is going to go this year. There isn't a huge divergent opinions. I think there are a few different sort of emphases, different accents, different tones to what they have predicted, but the general direction of travel seems to be the same, or is shared, I suppose is the right word.
Yeah. Erin, do you have any comment on this one?
Well, I think I'm looking at the article right now. I've been looking while you guys are talking, and I don't really see any new predictions. It's basically people are repeating the same thing that we all know already, and so it's kind of like a catchy title for an article, 25 experts share predictions on 2015, but I didn't see anything that I've never seen before. It's like rehashed, same,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But
Erin,
it makes for a good title. Good call to action. Yeah, go ahead. What?
Erin, you work quite a lot with Pinterest. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, I have worked a lot with Pinterest. I think of all of the social media websites out there, the one that gets the most traffic for my clients is Pinterest.
And that's what I found quite interesting, in that among these 25, I think only one person, or perhaps two, mentioned Pinterest as a platform. And that I thought that was quite interesting, that omission. When people talk about social media and looking at this, it's very Facebook-centric. Understandably so, but still, I thought that was slightly odd if you're looking into trends and where things might change this year.
Well, I think that the whole thing about Facebook is that you can only really say Facebook is going to give me an ROI if you invest the money. And that's not true about Pinterest. You don't need to actually invest money for Pinterest, just time and effort. But Facebook, you have to invest money. Like, basically, if you're not investing money on Facebook, you're not going to get traction. Unless you're spamming, of course, then that'll get you banned. But I know people who get traction from Facebook by basically spamming the heck out of Facebook groups, but it's not. I don't recommend that. That's completely not a good way to go. But they do get a lot of traffic. They haven't been banned yet. They haven't gotten caught, let's say. But that would be stupid, right, to be doing things like that. But if you're not spending money on Facebook, you're not going to get any ROI nowadays. You did a while ago, a few years ago, but not nowadays.
The argument then is that if you have to pay for something, then you expect something in return. So in that sense, Facebook will have to become more transparent and, what would be the right word, more organized, or better at the sort of the targeting and selections.
I think it's not really a question of Facebook. It's a question of the person who's doing the campaign. Every single niche is different, and every single market is unique. And you don't really know what your ROI is going to be in that specific client's niche until you actually start working in it and testing and looking at the analytics and looking at which one worked and tweaking. So it's kind of a hit and miss in the beginning. I mean, anybody who says, oh, I'll get you this much ROI without any kind of testing is lying, basically. They're just lying. there's a bunch of people that do that because they want to get more clients. So, but I found that that's the reality. But Facebook ads do work. I'm not saying they don't work. They do work, but you do have to spend money on it, and it's always a risk. Hello?
Yes, no, I was just thinking. But I guess we're pretty. Well, actually, I'll just point out that Masataki said something interesting in the green room before you arrived there, and he said that one of them mentioned social media as if social media were Facebook, or as if Facebook were social media, I guess. But that's like people who think that Google is a search engine.
Yeah, that Google is search engine. That Google is search, right?
Well, perhaps Google is only search. Then I'll put it another way.
Right. Like,
or is
you're
the
searching
search
for
engine,
Google.
if that makes sense.
Right. It's like they don't know the existence of other search engines. But I would say that that comparison is way off because in relation to Google, Google is like a giant in comparison to the other search engines, whereas Facebook has competition. Twitter and Pinterest, you know, there's other social media sites out there that have a huge amount of users. So to think that Facebook is like it is very Instagram. I mean, there's a whole bunch of sites that have millions and millions and millions of users. So that comparison is kind of off. You know, you can basically say that Google is the biggest, like, dominant search engine out there, whereas you can't say that about Facebook, even though it's huge. There's a lot of competition.
It's more about perception than reality, in a sense. I think it may be easier for people to imagine or visualize in their own minds about when talking about social media, when it's when people talk about social media, it might be easier for people to understand conceptually if they think in terms of Facebook concretely, if that makes sense. So it's not necessarily the reality of it, but I think it might be the perception of it, and perhaps on both sides, certainly on the client side, perhaps, but also those who work may actually know a lot more about Facebook than other platforms, so they would concentrate on Facebook rather than anything else. Mm-hmm. Despite the fact that there are many other platforms. I think that has been pointed out by one of the 25, saying, look, you know, there are other platforms other than these big ones, and knowing where your potential audience is, that's important. You know, okay, Facebook's in a sense a huge place, so you're bound to find people interested in what you offer. But it's not the only place, and you may be looking for needles in a haystack, whereas you may have a platform that closely aligns with your target audience.
Well, in relation to finding your potential audience, I think Facebook is one of the best in that sense, because you can actually target your ads according to your competitors. So whoever your competitors' fans are, you can, you know, directly target them when you are creating an ad. So Facebook has that huge advantage that other websites don't. You can, you know, let's say you're selling I don't know, high-heeled shoes, and there's a certain high-heeled shoes competitor, then it's very specific who's going to want that exact product, and you go ahead and target those exact people who are liking your competitor. So that's where the ROI comes in. That's why people are so many businesses still invest a lot of money in advertising with Facebook, is because of that capacity that you don't get in other places. In relation to Pinterest, for example, I think that a huge overlooked part of Pinterest marketing is the fact that people are so focused on the website itself, like Pinterest, that they don't realize that most of your Pinterest traffic will come from pinned images from your own website. So the first place that I always tell clients that I would, when I do consulting, is let's go to your website and see if your website is it makes it easy to pin the images, if the images are high quality or not. If they're not high quality, get high quality images, because a lot of traffic comes directly from people who have found your website through other means, mostly search engines if you know a little bit about SEO. Then they pin it, and then you get traffic from the pinned images that came from, and then people repin it, so it's kind of like a domino effect. So if you SEO your website correctly, make sure that the website's set up with big, huge, pin this image, on top of each image, have a Pinterest button on there. Even though most people pin from their browsers, you still want to have that reminder. It gives them an understanding that you're not anal retentive in relation to copyright for your images. So people will feel more, desire to pin that, because they're like, oh, they're not going to sue me for pinning this because they have a big pin it button on their image. And then from there, people repin it, and then you get traffic from Pinterest that way too.
Okay. All right. So will we consider this topic covered?
Yep.
I'm going to record. Thank you, Erin. I'll take that. All right. So here's a question from Masataki Wasa. How do you create viral video content, and what are the roles and functions of social media in making it go viral? It was a share of an article posted initially by BBC News. It was titled, "Of all the millions of videos posted online each day, how do some clips rise above the fray?"
Yeah, I think it went through a number of factors. First is that if you start to watch something, and if you watch, I think it was 6 or 7 seconds of the clip, then you're likely to watch the entire thing. Use animals, etc., etc., etc. So that the video clip was on how to make the shortish, so the 3-minute length video clip that's likely to go viral. So I was more interested in the sort of derivative question of how does it go viral, and how does it go viral, and what routes do they take? Because I have very little idea of video content, and I'm really curious how some videos actually get the traction that they get. Because other than thinking it random, and if there are certain factors, if there are certain things that will make something go viral, or more likely so, then I'd be interested to know. So it was sort of question out of curiosity more than anything else.
I think
We
that
should have Masataki. Yeah, go on.
the idea that there's a perfect formula for something going viral is a wrong idea. There are a lot of agencies, marketing agencies out there that work and spend a lot of money trying to create a viral video, and some of them work and some of them don't work, even with all the money invested. And then there's people that don't invest any money, they just record something amazing and it goes viral. So what makes a video viral is it absurd? Anything that's absurd, very crazy, very wacko, very weird, people love that. They eat that up. So they want to laugh, they want to be shocked, they want to cry, they want to get emotional, they want to be moved. So, if you look at the videos that have gone viral, they evoked emotion. That's what makes a video go viral. Now, when somebody tries to evoke the emotion and it feels forced, nobody actually gets emotional when it's a forced thing. So it's an art. It's an art. It's hard work to actually create a good viral video. Of course, if you are recording, let's say, you can use your creativity and come up with a great viral idea. Like, for example, or even if you just have your camera recording through life and you find something odd, like there was a video that went viral of a cat that was barking like a dog, imitating a dog. That went viral, and it was just like 10 seconds, I think. So it's just unusual, weird, crazy things that evoke emotion from people. Entertaining. That's what makes a viral video.
I think you're right, Darren.
Mm-hmm.
Any more comments, Masataki?
No, I think there's in a sense, certain illogical thing about creating, inverted commas, a viral video, isn't it? Because the whole thing about it is that it has to find resonance, and and as Aaron said, it's impossible really to manufacture it, to fake it.
Mm-hmm.
because
people will see through it in the end.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that make a life of discrediting fakes. They get off on it. They feel like it's their role in life to seek out the fakes, and of course, the internet will always bring you undone if you do try to fake it.
There are actual celebrities that YouTube celebrities, I would say, they're masters at this because they've got such a huge personality and they're funny. They're usually the YouTube celebrities are happy people. You will not find one single YouTube celebrity that's not happy. So they're happy, and their life is about creating something that's going to entertain. It's going to make you laugh. So like Jenna Marbles, she gets drunk and creates videos because they're funny. So she'll be, one of her first biggest viral videos was her drunk makeup tutorial. And that was hilarious. I've watched that video like, I don't know, 15 times, and I always laugh. So, and then she did drunk balloon tutorial, drunk art school, anything that's absurd, and it's all about entertaining people. So certain people have such big personalities, and they're so happy, and they're so off the wall and not afraid of anything. that that's how they create a huge audience and a large number of viral videos, because they're just fearless. They're not self-conscious at all. They'll stick like cucumbers up their nose or whatever it takes.
Well, please don't stick cucumbers up your noses. Just that was a public service announcement. Lest people start doing that and blame us for it.
Well, he wanted to know how to create a viral video, Staple your finger to the... No, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. Don't staple your finger to anything. Oh,
all right.
Goodness.
Right, let's move on to number 3. Are we ready to move on, guys?
Sure.
Yeah.
And this was just not much. It was just I logged on to Google Plus, and it presented me with the suggested user list, as if I were a first-time user. But anyway, Masataki got to the bottom of it and found the answer for us.
Did I? Oh. Apparently, and I think... sorry, start again. Can't speak. Many people saw this...
Okay, we'll cut that out, Masataki.
Many people saw this kind of essentially interstitial screen, wasn't it? Because you try to log on to Google Plus, you expect to be taken to your stream page, but in between a page with suggested users essentially popped up or were shown to users. And this happened to, I think, most users, and it happened towards the end of last year. It happens about once every year or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. So that did surprise me, that people who have been using Google Plus now for some time were presented with this screen, because it seems a bit odd. People probably have decent ideas about what kind of profiles and pages that they want to follow, and they will have enough connections here and there to know how to find more of the interesting profiles and pages to follow. So I thought it was a bit odd. And another thing, and it's a kind of my pet hate really, is that the suggested user list isn't really a great suggestion, because I don't think they are customized to the person. It is localized, so there are geographical elements to it, but I don't think it is targeted enough, if that makes sense. It's not well targeted. It's a bit of a hit and miss.
Yes, I'm just scrolling through the comments on the Social Media Fridays community. I think Pelagic made a comment that it was non-targeted and everybody got it.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. Absolutely right, Pelagic.
I wonder what their motivation is in doing that. If it's not targeted, what's the use of it?
I suppose it's a kind of reminder that they exist. The suggested user list.
I believe it's targeted. I believe it's targeted because I'm in Brazil, and I got that screen, I think, last week, and it was all suggesting Brazilian people that I know are famous Brazilian people. They didn't really suggest anyone. Yeah, it's localized. They didn't suggest people that were really interesting to me. They were suggesting to my topic, I mean, to the topic of interest that I usually go after. They were suggesting everyone based on the country I live in.
Yeah, yeah, the same thing happened to me. So I saw all the different sort of subgroups, the sections that they divide people or profiles and pages into, and something like fashion and beauty, not my thing, or parenting and the kids, again, not really my thing. So it was quite interesting to see that pop up, and then they had a huge tab for football, soccer clubs. I mean, people usually support only one, right? Why show all 20 or 40 or whatnot? And it did seem a bit odd that it wasn't targeted to the person at all. Really, it's really geographical. So, oh, you happen to be in this country, here are the suggestions for you. And I was looking at the politics, and that was, again, a bit weird. I live in London, and then among the suggestions were Birmingham City Council and Aberdeen City Council. I mean, Aberdeen is hundreds of miles away. So,
and a different nation.
Absolutely. And again, I think that those are the things that seem a bit weird, because let's say if it was more selected, so I might be more interested in, for example, news or museums, photography, things like that, which I think Google would know from the profiles and pages that I already follow, and through the kind of things that I post and share. So it seemed really out of kilter, as it were, for Google to go ahead and say, here's a list of profiles and pages loosely connected with where you live. Do you want to follow them? No, not really.
Okay. Well, I think that brings us to the end of today. Anything exciting happening in Brazil right now, Erin?
Well, related to social media, or just in general?
Related to anything.
Oh, there's a lot of things happening in Brazil, but I don't think they're very positive for me to be broadcasting them and bring everybody's mood down. So let's just focus on social. That'll be better. I try to ignore the news anyways.
Okay. All right. Well, look. Let's go to Green Room. If you're watching this, thank you very much for your participation. Your interest makes what we do worthwhile. We'll be back at the same time next week to do this all again. And if you'd like to post something on